Need to sleep that is so. But I could keep the tone. I got the phone. Oh, don't happy day. Baby, you home. It's great day. It's happy. It's okay. Maybe just the guilty. Takes me out to the sea. How much you're dirty. Baby, baby, I know you mean what to baby, you mean what to right, baby. Only you so they'll be baby, you think oh, actually came, yes, no people think of it, baby, but no more on the rock. They always think of this go word, right? If they go to man, they don't know. So it's a patient, if you're on the patient, oh, it's a patient. Hey, time you know it's a patient, and you're giving on the patient. People told me that it's a patient. You don't even know what you don't even know what only you only down. Only you only down. Oh, yeah. Fix the night. So everything's all right. Something everything's all right. Oh,
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. Woo, good workout. Wow, y'all look amazing. Yes, yes, yes. That was good, good, good. Don't remind us, I will never leave you. Lord, it's hot, hot. It's hot. I can't wait till I can bring this. You gonna be right here? How y'all doing? How's the band sound? I was the first to tell you this. I remember when they first started. Wow. They have come a long, long way. They sound good. And nice and smooth, right? Yeah. Grown and sexy. Grown and sexy, right? All right, so listen, we're about to start a panel discussion, but a couple of things I want to say. We're going to be doing a lot of events here. A lot of the conversations and events will be free. But the price, and we've been doing them. Right. But the price is you getting involved with your community. That's right. And the reason why we have music is because music has always been a part of the war. That's right. All right. When you go back to our ancestors in Africa, you see those instruments up there. Those are the instruments that were used in Africa, right? And the evolution is what we have on the stage today, right? That's what it evolved to. But you got to understand the first two forms of communication known to mankind are the drum and the voice. That's right. Right? And our ancestors had their hands cut off, right? For using those drums to communicate, to fight, for wars, to escape from slavery, right? Right. Our sisters use their hair. That's right. With braids to set up maps in their hair. That's right. For maps and blueprints to escape, right? So our culture is rich and has a purpose. That's right. So we want people to be involved with this conversation and other conversations that we're going to have. And so we only here today because of Don't Mute DC. All right. That's right. 10 years of work with Checker that happened before Don't Mute DC, but then a movement spark that helped us push policy that not only brought equity here, but you see all these restaurants in Anacostia that Black people own? That's because policy, not DEI. Right? Because 69% of the people got DEI don't look like us. Okay? It's just getting what we deserve. Right? A fair shot and an opportunity that other people are getting for 400 years. That's right. All right? So I just want to be clear that we cannot do nothing. We're not organizing. And stop just talking and do something. That's right. And we have the power. Absolutely. We have the power. So please sign up with these sisters from Throw. They have a way that you can sign up before you leave. Also in the back, we have an app called I Love Black People, where we organizing our own green book in the DMV and beyond, with Black businesses, Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black everything, and people who are Black friendly, right? And the reason being is that's what we did when we had the green book. And this is the time to do it. Like, we under attack, right? But it's a blessing sometimes. Yeah. Because it brings us together and we work together. Right. And we can turn Anacostia, we can turn Shaw, we can turn Deanwood back to Black Renaissance. If we work together, y'all. So please scan the app in the back, sign up. That's right. It's gonna be back there. And I have free t-shirts for you. The I Love Black People t-shirts while they last, right? But also patronize the place on your way out, because if you can, because it costs money to run this right? Yeah, it costs money. We're doing free tours for children, for schools, right? My brother in the back, he's the best tour guide in Washington, D.C. Raise your hand, sir. I always say his name wrong. Sabandale. But this brother, the school children love him. Most of the time, I can't pay him anything. He comes from work, leaves work to come here to give our children history lessons when I can't give them. And this is so important because they don't know that the slaves were free walking across the 11th Street Bridge. I'm ready for you, sister, when you are. Come on to the front when you're ready. They don't know all the history that Reverend Willie Wilson said here earlier today. And fact of the matter, most of us don't know.
That's true.
So can we give ourselves a round of applause?
That's right.
So we're gonna have this panel discussion. The Outback will be ready soon. Y'all know how we used to do it Outback. We used to turn up and always have those conversations. All right. So we getting ready for something special here. Not just in this spot. I saw my guy Mel here early from D City Smokehouse. We got the sisters across the street at Grounded. We got Kitchen Savages. We got Sapa Dealers, a Caribbean restaurant another sister had. We have the up the street, some Muslim brothers are opening up Sweet Tooth Cafe and Bakery. We had the lab. Listen, y'all. We have 110 Black businesses in Anacostia. There's nowhere else like this in the country. And we have to value what we have here, y'all. This don't exist nowhere else. And if we don't value it, we're gonna lose it. You go up the top of the hill, Congress Heights, Sycamore and Oak, 13 Black businesses up there. And then you got the businesses in Congress Heights that been there for years. So let's come together. Let's have this conversation. I love you all. Let's work, y'all.
Hey everybody, welcome. So we are just putting the chairs up and get everything set up. We want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We know we're having a little bit of a late start. So I just want to say welcome. Alana's gonna be introducing everybody and I'm gonna head.
All right, how y'all doing again? Nice to see y'all.
Hi.
Give a round of applause again for the band. And another one for Mr. Ron. So we need more community members out here like Mr. Ron.
That's right.
All right, if we can get our panel to come up.
Sorry, that's okay.
All right, round of applause for them for me. All right. So before we get started on the panel, I just want to go ahead and again introduce myself. My name is Alana. I'm a second year Master in Social Work student at Howard University.
You know.
Right. Always in a room in DC, right? And so I'm here today because I am one of the organizers of Throw, which is a student-led organization that we're working on establishing at Howard University. The organization was kind of born out of a discussion in one of our classes, our socially just policy class led by a professor there, Mr. Professor King, if you want to raise your hand. He's being shy today. The discussion, like Mr. Ron said, came out of not wanting to continue to just theorize, continue having conversations about liberation, but actually start doing the work. And so that's exactly what we're doing. We're doing the work. We had our first town hall a couple weeks ago, and this will be our second event. Like I said, we need a lot more community members out here like Mr. Ron. When he heard about what we were doing and our mission and what we're interested in doing, he immediately was like, let's work together. What can we do? You know, and we thank you for that. Thank you for giving us the space. Round of applause for Mr. Ron again. And so again, Throw, we are committed to using our resources, our education, and our energy to work toward liberation in whatever way that looks like. And so right now that's been looking like education. It's been looking like sharing resources and creating spaces to organize. So that's why we're here today. In addition to the Go-Go Museum, Mr. Ron, I think already introduced some of our partners, but Don't Mute DC, I hope you guys got the chance to check out their exhibit. Also, the I Love Black People app, we're partnering with them as well. And so before we get started, I just kind of want to ground the conversation in the fact that we're honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. and the work that he's done.
That's right.
And we're honoring it by talking about some of the topics that have to do with his final campaign, which was the Poor People's Campaign, where he talked about economic liberation. And it's so interesting, right, that was the campaign that he was working on at the time of his passing. But we're here to continue the work, continue the conversation, and although it looks differently now, we want to continue working toward that. So with that, we're going to introduce our panel. The first I'm going to introduce is Joseph Dean here. Joseph is passionate about leveraging data to support policies that strengthen communities. He's a research economist. His research is focused on the racial wealth gap, and he works with NCRC, which is a member-based organization whose mission is to increase the flow of capital going into underserved communities, especially formerly redlined areas. So give a round of applause for Joseph here. Our next panelist is Akinyemi Green. He is originally from Raleigh, North Carolina, graduated from Howard University.
HU?
With a bachelor's degree in economics and a focus in Black community development. And so he is currently a commercial banker and lender with a regional bank in the area. So round of applause for Akinyemi. Next, I'm gonna step over you because important.
Don't step over.
We're gonna come back to you, Mr. Ron. Next we have Ms. Sherrod Jackson. Minister Sherrod Jackson Clark from New Hope Baptist Church of Christ. She has a relentless drive for bringing the right people to the table across organizations to identify the current needs of underserved communities, and has a niche in utilizing and understanding processes to recognize and meet the immediate needs of diverse populations. And currently her work is in affordable housing. So round of applause for Ms. Sherrod. And then last but absolutely not least, we won't do too much for you, but again, we just really appreciate you for the space and for your support. We have Mr. Ronald Moten. He is a fifth generation Washingtonian, born and raised in DC, and you see how hard he goes for his city. 30 years of experience in activism in various ways, as you could tell by his personality. Wherever the need is, he's showing up. Founder of the Go-Go Museum, as well as Dope Mute DC, and of course, with the I Love Black People app, a supporter there as well.
Awesome.
Round of applause again. Thank you. Y'all up? Looking good, y'all. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into the panelists. Again, as a reminder, we have 1 to 2 minutes to answer each question if you feel compelled, just so we have time to take questions from the audience as well. And so, first question. He was mentioned earlier today, but I feel like we can't really have a conversation about economic development in the Black community without mentioning Mr. Marcus Garvey. And so a quote from him, he said, "A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." And so starting with that to bring some context to the conversation, right? Throughout history, and especially in DC, Black communities have been dismantled through various ways. From redlining, urban development, we've seen systemic efforts to destabilize our economic foundations. And so panelists, from your expertise, how have these historical and present day forces shaped where we stand today? And what lessons should we be carrying forward? And any one of you can start.
Good afternoon. My name is Akinyemi Green. Like she said, I am a commercial lender at United Bank. I'm here to support my community as well as give my experience as well as help anyone in the room. To answer her question, I have a couple talking points. Before I even start, he spoke about something very important. He said, You have to support your community. There's 110 businesses, Black businesses in Anacostia. How many people in this room will still go out and spend money at a white corporation or go deposit their money in a white bank?
Right.
Like, let's ask the hard questions. Like, probably all of it. Just gonna be honest. So you'll be in this. Okay, I might be generalizing, but I see her shaking her head.
I know.
Most of us are still gonna do that. You're still gonna go to Walmart. You're still gonna go to Target. You're still gonna go buy gas at Valero. You're still gonna go deposit your money at Bank of America or Chase. So before I get into the conversation, we have to understand that our habits and our practices are very important in this. Now, to discuss what she asked, we keep using this term redlining as if it's historic. It's not historic. I work in lending. It's not historic. Everything over the bridge, over the river, is that shit over there. I'm gonna be honest. I'm candid. Everything over the bridge in Northeast and Southeast is that shit over there. They don't want to lend to it. They don't want to help it. They don't want it to grow. This is what we're dealing with. It is not historic. They carved up our neighborhoods in the 40s and 50s. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And then what did they do after that? They started doing stuff to contain us in those neighborhoods. Now it's not about redlining, it's about containment. Keep them in these neighborhoods, keep the credit slow rolling, keep them poor. So I want to start there and highlight that this is not historic, this is active. This is very active. Not to take up too much time, but to get to the lessons of this, like I said earlier, how many of you are going to go spend your money at a white corporation after this? How many of you are going to go deposit it in a white bank? We have to understand that ownership is everything. We have to own. We cannot rent. We have to own. We cannot rent. We have to own. We cannot rent. We have to own. I've said that 3 times because it's that important. We have to own. Paying rent is paying someone's mortgage. If you are renting, you are paying somebody else's mortgage. So if you can rent, you can buy. You have to own, and you have to own Black because they do not want us. They don't care about our money. It's not enough money to them. They don't care about our dollar. They don't care about it. You can have $1 million. They don't want it because it's a Black $1 million and not a white $1 million. They do not want it. How many of you have an account at Industrial Bank around the corner? That's right here. That's 4 hands in a room of 50 people. Everyone should have that. I have an account there and I don't work there. I get paid every other Friday, and I'm telling you, I'm a personal into an employee account. And what happens that same Friday? That shit's transferred out to you, Industrial Bank, as well as City First Bank, which is another Black-owned bank in DC. You have to shop local. You have to buy local. You have to buy Black. I'm going to say that the whole night, and I'm going to keep saying it because that's the only solution. We can march, and I'm not knocking that. I'm an active, current descendant of founding Black Panther members. We can march all we want. We can protest all we want. It's not enough in 2025.
I would say this. A lot of things that happen in our communities depress us into thinking that we don't have power. I've seen firsthand victories after victories after victories. That's because I don't let nobody tell me what we can't do.
Right.
And the reason why this happened to me, I was just blessed to be around miracles. My first miracle was being a part of the Million Man March, Reverend Willie Wilson. And I was working with Ceasefire No Smoking brothers and sisters when I came home from prison. And I was a youth organizer. And I was organizing youth. I spoke at Howard University on the same stage with Minister Farrakhan. We was organizing the march. And the day of the march, after everybody said it wasn't going to happen, a lot of people weren't going to come together. It was cloudy outside. And I remember the drums, 6 o'clock that morning, and a libation like Willie Wilson did today. I saw the sky open up.
Yeah.
And I saw 2 million people come.
That's right.
And from that day on, nobody could tell me what couldn't happen and what we couldn't do as a people when we come together. And from that day on, anytime I set out to do something, I just do it because I know God gives us the power. He's in us to do whatever we want to do.
Indeed.
And I say that to say, even with the Don't Be DC movement, a lot of Black people
Right.
needed a victory because they had convinced us, the people who steal the majority of this city, that we didn't have power no more. So let me tell you how power works. It works for economic, but it also works for politics.
That's right.
And policy. In that drawback, there you see two policies. One is we got $2 million to buy these 3 buildings right here, me and former gang members.
Right.
All right. Everybody thought I was crazy when I said it, but I knew we could do it because I saw Al Malik do it uptown when Marion Berry gave him the money to buy the buildings.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah.
So I saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
So you fast forward to now,
Mm-hmm.
and when they try to stop it, one council member, I said, listen, y'all do this for white developers all over this city every day, giving them probably $4.
Right.
We've invested in our community over here in Southeast when nobody wanted to be here for the last 10 years as an enterprise with former gang members, proving that we're valuable and we're going to help develop this community, and you should fund it if you want to stop gentrification.
Right.
And a piece of policy in that drawer did it. The next piece of policy, which made Go-Go DC's official music, stamped our music, stamped our culture, right?
Yeah.
And put dollars into our culture where we've been doing it by ourselves for the last 50 years.
That's right.
So what I want to say is elections are important. Local politics are important. Why these people do all this crazy stuff?
Right.
The local politics are very important. So along with he said with the economics, the real reason why King was killed, because that's what he started talking about.
Right.
The politics and the policy are very important. Don't let nobody tell you anything other than. And I'm gonna close with this: our brothers and sisters about to start going back to prison because they don't understand policy.
That's right.
When they tricked us into legalizing marijuana in DC, I try to tell them to slow up. Nobody wanted to listen to the expert.
Right.
Why do you want to stop? Because you have to educate our people first.
Right.
So what happens? They rush the policy.
Yeah.
All these brothers and sisters smoke weed outside in DC, and it's not legal.
It's not.
It's only legal to smoke in your house.
Yeah.
So if you outside smoking illegally and the police want to get you for something, now they don't need a search warrant.
That's right.
So all these more people got locked up after the bill passed than before
Whoa.
it was illegal because we are not educated on policy.
That's right.
So I just want to just lay that out there. But what the brother's saying is very important, but don't forget about the policy because money comes with policy. That's where all the fight is going over right now in this country. It's about policy and moving money to who the policy makers want to move the money to.
Hello.
As the queen at the table.
Hello,
Come on, put your hands together for the queen at the table. That's right. My sister pronounced my name as Sherrod, which is okay. That's the way all of my white brothers and sisters pronounce it. But it's Charade, and my last name is Jackson.
Right.
Let me thank you, baby, for saying it out loud. Let me tell you guys something right now. You are the power. We have proven that by our 40-day fast of not going to Target. Target stocks have dropped. Come on, clap your hands for yourself. You are powerful. You have invested in your own community. And you know how I know that? Because you're in this room right now. We didn't go somewhere else. We could have went uptown, Georgetown, anybody. We could have went to, what's that place? Poet and the Boys and all of that. You understand what I'm saying? But instead, we came to our Go-Go Museum. Put your hands together for yourself. Don't ever let anybody tell you don't have the power. Wherever you go in this life, you stand up in the room. When I walk in the room, I am sometimes the only woman. I am sometimes the only Black. And for those of you who have a problem with age, I am 60 years old. And the one thing I love about my age is I've been there, done that, and nobody can stop me now. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I love what my brother said right here is you got to be careful about policy. We've been hijacked. Somebody said we've been hijacked. Our government has been hijacked. And one of the things we have to do right now is stand. Somebody shout stand. Show up. Somebody shout show up. Don't ever think that you don't count. Your dollar count, where you spend your money, where you go with your money, and what you do with your money. You count and know that you are the power. Everybody say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I want you to understand the difference. I'm black and I'm proud. And it's nothing wrong with being who you are. It's nothing wrong with going in the room and demand things. I want a loan to invest in Anacostia. I need money to do what I need to do. Don't be afraid. And don't be afraid of no. Don't be afraid of no. Because when the one person say no, somebody's gonna say yes. And our problem is we give up before the yes comes. Somebody say, I'm not giving up. And don't give up. I work for an organization. We bought 23 properties. We purchased property in areas that got $1 million housing around it. That way, when we show up in affordable housing and people look like me, hello, with the short hair and the kinky hair, then we are in neighborhoods, in their schools. Yes. Come on now, we've been educated with their children. Yes. We're no longer just building in the city. We want to be where you are. If you got good schools, okay, we want to be there. If you got the best libraries, we want to be there. We got to be where we need to be and show up. You understand? Yes. Somebody say, I'm showing up. You no longer can tell me no. I don't care about DEI. DEI wasn't for me, for them white girls. Right. Come on now. DEI was designed for me. White women didn't have rights. Somebody will just snap on that. Yeah. We did not have rights. It was white males, white women. Come on. Yes. Let's be honest. Yes. So what they did wrong was they voted the wrong person in. I got 2 minutes. They voted the wrong person in. And now everybody is paying for it. See, they didn't think it was going to happen to them. They didn't think they were going to show up in their good government job and the computer was going to be off. They didn't think that. Welcome to our world.
Can I say one thing? He spoke about policy. Everybody is talking about policy. You have to understand, we as a bank cannot build a 250 unit apartment building without your mayor saying yes. Let's talk about that. No bank in this city or any city can build shit without zoning. So before we talk about gentrification, we have to talk about who allowed it. It was your mayor and it was your city council. We could not build that building, put that plumbing, put that foundation there unless the city let us. And the second part, when he spoke about marijuana businesses, that was a trap. Because the one thing you cannot do with proceeds from a marijuana-based business or CBD is deposit it in a bank account because it is federally illegal. So you now know you have no income. You cannot prove your income. And the minute you put it in that bank, what are they going to say? Oh, where did that come from?
That's right.
He was selling drugs.
Follow the dog. Yep.
I just needed to say that because
Never thought about that. Never thought about that.
All right, question number 1, y'all. Round of applause for him. Yes, yes. Hold on to that. Look, and Miss Sheree, listen, I don't want to be like the white lady. Miss Sheree, I got it. I got it.
You are wonderful. Let me just say this. That's why I think names are important. Don't lose your identity in your name. You understand what I'm saying? And I love you, brother. You know that I brought Preston because I'm introducing little Preston to Go-Go, and I want him to know his heritage and who he is. And I want him to know that Black people will take care of him. I want him to know not to be afraid because you over the river. I want you to know your people look after you. When he walked in this room, everybody started taking care of him. You need this, you want that, because that's what we do in our community. Thank you.
All right, y'all, we're gonna go to question number 2. And so many of our historical movements prioritize community-driven economies, which we talked a little bit about, mutual aid and cooperative ownership. And as Martin Luther King said, the hope of a secure and livable world lies with disciplined nonconformists who are dedicated to justice, peace, and brotherhood, right? So, panelists, what tangible steps must we take to build an economic and social ecosystem where our communities thrive on our own terms?
Sorry.
Yeah. So everything was, I agree with everything that was said so far. There was something mentioned earlier about, I saw it on one of the exhibits that go-go music was one of the only forms of Black music that hasn't been colonized yet. And thinking about the historical context, kind of leading the first question into the second question, the way I've been kind of like conceptualizing like gentrification, redlining. There was a man, Raphael Lincoln, who was a Holocaust survivor. He lost about 49 members of his family to the Nazis. He coined the term genocide. And in his book on genocide, he stated that slavery, as I quote, I think directly, slavery is genocide par excellence. You know, you have the complete destruction of familial bonds, spiritual bonds, community is destroyed, language, religion. So, you know, redlining, gentrification, all of that is a pipeline from that, right? I mean, it's a form of destruction of a people. I mean, you have whole neighborhoods that no longer exist functionally. Those community members could very well be in prison. They could be dead. They could be spread out all over the country. So that's just kind of one of the ways I kind of conceptualize that. It's not just, you know, conceptualization. You also had like the We Charge Genocide petition, Malcolm X, Paul Robeson in the 40s and 50s and 60s, pushing at the UN this idea that Black people are victims of genocide and tying that into reparations. So it's not just the, you know, conceptualization, it's also a movement centered around that. And so one of the ways I kind of to put a pause on this is kind of a need to like internationalize, taking advantage of, you know, different struggles going on globally. You have like Canada, for example. I mean, they're getting ready to lose their sovereignty. You know, they're going to be invaded. You know, and they need. There's. I was reading an article a couple weeks ago about how they're kind of looking into domestic issues in the United States, seeing how they can take advantage of it for, you know, their own personal interests. And so the need to kind of take advantage of these sort of contradictions that are going on, I think is probably something that I would, you know, recommend anybody, any community organizers, to think about those type of international connections and contradictions, how you can take advantage of that. So that's really all I have for those two first questions. I'll lead them together.
Awesome. Right.
So I want to leave people here with actual action steps they can take when they walk out of the door. I think that's very important. I want you all to have something you can physically go enact. The first thing I'm going to say is educate yourself. And I'm going to get deeper. Educate yourself on what happens to your money when it is deposited into a bank. Educate yourself on the Black-owned businesses in your neighborhood. Educate yourself on your network. Your access is everything. If you have no access, you cannot do anything in this country. My mother used to say it's about who you know, not what you know. Yeah. It is about who you know, not what you know. The only reason I am in the role I'm in currently is because of who I knew, not what I knew. We can sit here and complain about it all day long. That's the world we're in. That's the world we're in. It's not fair, but that's the world we are in. So you can either watch it or you can step into it. You have to have somebody at every step of the way. So if it's property that you want to own, you need to have a realtor that you trust. You need to have a lender that you trust. You need to have an attorney for closing documents that you trust. You have to have a network of people that you trust because those people will give you access to do the things you want to do. No one can build a commercial building or multifamily or 2-3 units or even buy a home if they have no network. Everyone here has to work on their network. You have to work on your network like it's your credit. Because if you don't have credit, if you have a network, somebody will look past it.
Yeah.
That part. If you don't have money, but you have a network, somebody will look past it. Somebody will work with you, bend the rules. We are not wealthy because we do not have people to bend the rules for us. I am telling you what I know. These people are cheating. They are not playing fair. They are not operating by the same rules. They have shitty credit. They are poor. They just have people that don't care and will give them what they want. So you need to work on your access. Everybody up here, I'm sure, will help you with anything they want to do. He's in tech. He's a business owner. She's in affordable housing. I'm a lender. You have access. You need to work on your access.
I want to say, one of the things that we as a people have gotten away from, no matter where we're from, is our spirituality.
That's right.
We have let them separate us from our ancestors and what has gotten us to here, to where we are today, and what has allowed us to survive every form of genocide, every form of torture, every form of slavery. Everything that can be done to a human has been done to Black people.
That's
And we survived it, right?
Yes.
But we have gotten away from our spirituality, right? Our ancestors, the things that they taught us. And the other thing I would tell you is I work with a lot of people who worked with King before they died. And one of the things they told me was, no matter what you do not lose your moral compass.
That's right.
Because when you lose your moral compass, you lose your power.
Insight.
And we got a lot of people walking around that say they represent us who don't have a moral compass.
That's right.
You know, they say they represent the young people, but they doing something crooked on the other side.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So what I would say first, we got to get our moral compass in place. Second, our spirituality, right? And then with that, you don't have any fear. And then with that, you can knock down walls and mountains that people say that you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, you can work with somebody next to you and share your idea
Right.
without worrying about him stealing it. Because
That's right.
part of the problem with us is we don't work together because we don't trust each other.
Right.
And if you don't have a moral compass and no spiritual being, you can't work with your brother and sister.
Right.
I don't know how many times I done got crossed by people I done help. I mean, people talk about me and I ain't done nothing but help them. But that's what they did to Jesus, so I don't get upset.
Exactly.
But I just understand this process only because that the spirituality component that I know God really has worked through my messy ass.
Right.
Like he's worked through me
Right.
and allowed me to do some things
That's a
that some people think are impossible.
That's right.
But we got to get back to our spirituality, y'all.
Right.
And we gotta like have a moral compass. Like I don't go for protests in the street for somebody who I know killing everybody. I'm just not gonna do that. But if somebody innocent is killed, whether he in the streets or not in the streets, I'm at a protest.
Yeah.
But we gotta have a moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have it, or you have no power
Right.
to fight the people that we're fighting.
Yes.
We have to have the spirit with us. So I just want y'all to know that the spirit is real, y'all.
That's right.
It's real. Don't let them spook you out. It's real.
Yes.
So we need that first.
That's good. Oh, come on, y'all. Clap your hands for my brother.
Yeah.
Him that is in me is greater than him that's in the world. Let me say that again. Him that is in me is greater than him that is in the world. And one of the things the sister said about me is I carry the title Minister Sheree. Thank you for reminding us that we are a spiritual being existing in time. We have the power to do some things if we trust what we know our ancestors have already done. I just want to lean over a little bit and introduce my pastor. That's my pastor right there, Pastor Kenny King, who's also Professor King. Can you raise your hand? Can they see you? All right, y'all give him a hand.
That is our teacher.
That's it. He's
That's
teaching
fine.
and Howard. These young people, and he is my pastor. That's power, right? That's power. And I don't mind calling a man who's going somewhere. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Right. I want you guys to know in this time, as we are talking about having a spiritual conscience, brother, you said something that's interesting. How do you work with a person has 34 felons and got elected, but we still have brothers in jail with one felon? How do you work with somebody? And I don't know how you bankrupt casino, but he did it 6 times. 6 times. Okay. He bankrupted a casino 6 times, but he made it to president. That's why we have to stop saying we can't.
Right.
We must push forward because I'll tell you what will always show up, and that is our light. This is your network. I just introduced you to my pastor who licensed me, who gave me an opportunity as a woman to always be able to sit at a mic. You got to surround yourself with people who are going to give you what you need to move up. Just come on, you clap for me, sis. And don't forget the people behind you. I never enter into a room not making room for somebody else. Yeah. I don't close the door. I don't crack the door. I bust it wide open. I bring people in there with me. When I show up at the table, I'm showing up with power. We got the power. We're going to do what we need to do. We're going to survive. What has turned in this time is the person that's there. He has only 4 years. Now, what we're going to do through this process, and he's trying to vote himself back in for a 3rd term. So we have to watch those things. I want you to start following people. And when I say following people is sign up for the NAACP, go on the website and see what they are doing. I want to know, this is me talking, because you're talking about the future. Who's running? Trump been running since he thought he lost. Right. He never stopped. Yep. We got to find out who is going to be our candidate, who's the person that's going to fight for us, and they might come right here from our community. But we got to start raising that person up. We got to start looking for that person. Who's going to take the place of the mayor? Who's going to move into these spots? We got to begin to think politics. We got to start thinking policy. We got to start thinking ownership. We got to start thinking the stuff that matters to us, because that is going to be the key to our power.
Amen. Yes, ma'am. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Before we go on to the next question, I just want to check in with the audience. Are there any questions in the audience for the panel right now?
That beautiful sister right there.
As a senior born in Washington, D.C., and a former home economics teacher, theater major. As a senior growing up and born and raised here, being in the 1963 March where Martin Luther King spoke to everybody, I want us to not refer to these monsters as the president. They ain't our president. Right. That's the selected who's been bought and bossed by a bunch of multi-millionaires.
Yes,
so we have to be very careful about addressing their language and looking at their struggle like we identifying with them. We are a nation within a nation. We have always been our own rulers. We pulled ourselves up without no boots on, no bootstraps. So I think we need to be very particular and read Afrocentricity by Dr. Malefe Asante. Read Ubugu by Dr. Marimba Ani, so you know the critique of European thought. They ain't really human. They ain't all there. Think positive. Listen to Tony Browder when he comes on the radio every Wednesday. I mean, there's so many things on WPFW radio, but we can educate ourselves. Go to UDC. Go to university lectures. Howard University has lectures. There are things that we can do. We got to tell a lot of our brothers who's sitting on the corner, still drugging and looking like a bunch of idiots. They clean themselves up because they represent us. They our kind. So we really got to do more than just sit up and talk. But we got to talk. We got to talk to them, those who are not listening. But I thank you for this panel, and I think each one of you is a wonderful example of what all of us should be looking at.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
Oh, all right. Let me get to the back. I got one back here. I got a couple back here. Oh, wait.
No. As I'm here. My name is Hannibal Jarrell with Red TV, Moving Grass Television. First of all, I want to thank everyone for here. Shout out to Brother Moulton. I want to kind of add to what the Queen said. I think we get too caught up in their definitions and their lexicon, how they explain our situation.
Right.
And I was speaking to somebody the other day, and he was talking about one of the best songs ever made was by Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. I think what we have to do is look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what do we really believe about who we are? Because if we don't believe we're great, then our neighborhoods won't be great, our families won't be great, and then we'll look to blame somebody else. I know because DC born 73, DC General Hospital, Southeast 15th Street. My cousin Tommy Broadwater, may rest in peace in the physical, had the Ebony Inn since 1965. One of only 2 clubs that Blacks could go to. So we have these establishments. We just have to create systems. So I'm gonna leave y'all with a book to read. If you haven't read it, what we have to do is what Dr. Claude Anderson said. We have to own the systems. We have to create our own judicial system. We have to have our own financial institutions. We have to have our own educational systems. Because if we can do that, then we have a nation mindset and we get treated as a nation. We act as if we are less than, and we look to the oppressor to give us something.
Right.
And we are the ones that they studied.
That's right.
And they study, but we don't study no more. Right? So the last thing I'm gonna leave y'all with is I believe in this country and I agree with both policy and so forth. But there's three things we have to study in this country we really want to know what it's about. Capitalism, consumerism, and militarism.
That's right.
If you don't study those three, then it doesn't matter what else you do because they're always going to be over top of you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much. For the people in the back, just so y'all know, we do have some seats up here if y'all want to come in a little bit, get comfy. We'll take one last question before we go back to the panel.
Hi, my name is Ramari. I'm a senior economics major at Howard University. But I have a comment and a question. As you know, the truancy rate in DC is it's poor, truly. And as you know, a lot of these problems stems for the household. I was wondering, as Black leaders, what are ways that we can invest into our youth so we can get rid of this narrative of calling them YNs, like young, smart Black men?
Can I say something to that?
Yes, sir.
Stop engaging in their products. Their products are what labeled you a YN. Instagram, Twitter, I have both of them. But we didn't just come up with YN. That was something that we saw on social media and it was popular and the people ran with it. Just like he said before you, he said we need institutions and schools and learning places where we can teach ourselves. We actually have them. We have like 7 Black-owned banks in this country. We have multiple Black-owned grocery stores. I'm actually about to visit one in Waldorf this weekend. We have them. We do not support them. Maybe you all do in this room. This is not the whole Black community. We do not support ourselves. And I need to be clear with that. We can't keep lying to ourselves and acting like we do. We don't. You all might in this room because you're here. You guys are here at 8 o'clock on a Friday. Think about where your friends are at right now at 8 o'clock on a Friday. Probably in somebody's white bar getting drunk. Or in a white-owned restaurant getting drunk. Like, let's just be honest. We have these systems. We don't support them.
Go ahead, bro.
A question, did you say something about truancy? So let me say this. I operated and founded one of the best nonprofits. Anybody know about the Pizza Hall that was in this city? And we sent over 149 children to college, broken over 40 truces. And DC has a truancy problem for many reasons. But I'll tell you this, when children were truant and getting put out of school, we asked the principal at Baloo Senior High School to let us do an in-school suspension. And at that in-school suspension, do y'all know what we did? What we did was we got the young people to understand, we taught them their history, to understand that people died for them, to have a right for an education. We taught them that the only thing that separates you from being enslaved is your education. The difference between slavery and freedom. And nobody in our program can leave without knowing the 13th Amendment of the Constitution. And voluntary servitude should not be forced upon a man unless duly convicted of a crime. So our young people understood the system was set up to enslave them, right? And then the other thing is we got to have accountability. We can blame everything on the system, but if a parent don't have to go to the school and it ain't a problem with that, then there's something wrong with our system.
Right.
Because I remember, and I was with this bill. They continued to try to pass a bill that if somebody was on public assistance, that they had to go to at least one PTA meeting.
That's right.
At their child's school. And I didn't think there was nothing wrong with that because I think all parents should go. But guess what? This super progressive system said that was too harsh.
That's right.
All right? Even with praying in school, they told us we couldn't pray in school. So you know what we did? We found a loophole. We came to Baloo Senior High School, and long as it was before school started, you could have prayer school. So Reverend Tony Lee would come with us, and we did prayer breakfasts with the students there, and it was jam-packed at Baloo Senior High School where they had high truancy rates. So the problem is, we think our children don't know what they want. We just ain't coming to them right. Right? We think they don't want the spirit, right? We just don't know how to give it to them.
Talk to them.
Right? So my thing is, a lot of it is us. Right? We blame it the system. It is the system because we know the system set up for us to fail. But that don't mean we have to fail.
Absolutely. Thank you. My church is New Hope Baptist United Church of Christ, located at 5301 North Capitol Street. We meet at 1. Now, I know everybody's church meet at 10. Everybody meet at 9. Everybody meet at 12. You know, they got all those hot hours. But we meet at 1 o'clock. What's significant about the 1 o'clock time, you got time as a mother to cook, to grab your children all together and bring them to worship. The one thing that, thank you so much, brother. One thing that I want to really encourage you is get your children back under some type of leadership. You cannot do this alone. This is a village. And brother, when you was talking about that, I'm concerned about all of our children because all of our children have to make a difference for tomorrow. So here we go. Number one, school. It's a it's an institution of education and can build high learning. HBCU schools are still there. The historical black colleges went nowhere. We have to show. I tell person every day when he get up, I call him Doctor Preston McCain. I have instilled in him that he is not nothing. He is somebody special. We have to start young. Young man, I'm not going to let you steal another car. Instead, I'm going to teach you how to use your hands and work on a car so that now you are a mechanic. So we have to take what was bad and instill in them something good. And so I just want to invite you, if you have not considered it, find you and your children a place. The neighbor's child. If you know people around you, brother, as you're talking, go to one of the schools. Here's my recommendation, suggestion, however you want to take it. Knock on the door to your local school and say, hey, I'm here to help. A lot of parents don't let their children stay after school to work and to learn to read or to write. So our kids got behind in 2020, right? And now we just passing them through. So a lot of our children are graduating, they can't read and write. They're having an issue with it, that new math they call it. It's not new math. 1 plus 1 is always going to be 2. We just have to teach them how to do it. Now I have a master's in business, so my mind worked like that. My time is up. Okay, so listen to me. Go knock on the door of the school. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. You take responsibility of it because you see the problem. Yep. I can't solve it without you. That makes sense? Okay, I'm done. Good. You do it. We can do it. That makes sense? Because some mothers cannot. Their children is on the bus. You understand? Okay, go up to my hand.
So I want to make a comment.
Sorry.
As a youth and as a young person, I'm not a youth, no, I'm getting old. But as a young person, we have to not forget that we were their age. We can't allow the words that other people give them to have power. I don't get offended by that word because at the end of the day, I'm going to come in my Jordans just like them. I'm going to meet them where they are. I'm not going to look down on them. I'm not going to try to speak to them in a way in which that will minimize who they are and not respect where they are. So yes, church is good, school is good, but we are the village. We're with them every day. We can't talk to them like they in school still. Sometimes you gotta get where they at. Hey, what's up? What you doing? Why you over there? Let's go over here. And that's it. That's all. Go. Thank you. All right. Right. 2 minutes. So now it's looking like mine, y'all.
30 seconds.
Hello. All right. We got 2 more questions.
Joe got to answer.
He did. All right. So next question.
You can tell me this for a long time.
Next question.
Sorry.
All right. So throughout history, Black communities across the diaspora have built powerful economic systems and social ecosystems that are often met with systemic pushback and sometimes violence. What internal strengths, cultural, spiritual, communal, entrepreneurial, and whatever else you can think of, especially regarding your expertise, can we harness today to not only protect, but expand our progress for generations to come?
quickly.
So a lot of them talked about like education today. So I actually got my master's in economics from Howard as well. And it's interesting because the year and a half at the school, it is not really a critique of Howard. It's more so about education and higher education. But going throughout the 3 years or the 3 semesters, and I never heard about a labor union. I never heard about Howard. We didn't talk about that. That's not really a part of the curriculum. So it's in short, like community-based education is going to far outseed, higher education, formal education. You only get, certain ideological trends, certain beliefs only come from outside of the academy, So that's just something I would say really shortly is that community education, superior to all. So I think the other panelists probably have something a little bit more deeper. Y'all giving these deep thoughts today.
I got a mic, but I was just gonna say for this last question, you have to look at the person to the left and right of you as though they're your family. Because the people we are operating against, they don't care where they came from. They don't care how rich they are, how poor they are. They look at them as another white man or another white woman. Because that's who you are, I'm gonna help you. It's that simple. They don't care about your qualifications. I work with people that have never worked a day in finance. Ever. And they're touching shit they have no business touching. But it has nothing to do with because they're qualified. It's because they're a white man and they want to see another white man succeed. We have to look at everybody the same. Every time I step out in the city and I'm walking past somebody, might accidentally cut in front of them, holding a door. Hi, brother. Hi, sister. How you doing? That's just in my nomenclature. That's just the way I talk because I want to look at everyone in my community as though they're family, because that is the only way we will break this generational tie that this brother right here has been talking about trusting each other. It's that simple. When they see a white man walk in the room, they're not thinking how much money does he have. They're not thinking what's his credit score. They're thinking if I give him this money, he'll be better off than he was before. It's that simple.
Right.
Y'all don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but I'm telling you what it is. You have to look at this man and say, he looks just like me. That's my brother. I don't care what he came from, what background he came from, what shoes he has on his feet. That's my brother. That's my brother. That's my sister. That's my sister.
All right.
So I'll end y'all with that.
Thank you.
Also, if you need anything and if I can help anyone with their business or their personal goals, find me after the panel. Please find me because I am family just like you all are family to me.
Thank you.
We're gonna take one last thing from the panel.
Oh, no, hold up, Barbara. Just one small point, forgive me. What you said. And there wasn't, when I came here in 1980 from New Jersey, that's how DC was. It was all about, hey, brother, hey, sister. Like big time. They changed me more than I was when I got here. And somewhere along the line, it has died.
Yeah.
But even some of us that sit in this place right now, and everybody know who they already are, they let it go too. Okay. So just like I was saying to the woman who was acting up in the building, I said, look, sis. She said, yes, sis. That's right, sis. So, sister, brother, yes, we do have to get back to that. And I pray that everybody in this room begin to pull it up and just use it. You just gotta use it. It doesn't matter if the next person don't get it, but you use it, and maybe they will use it.
I want to say something to a point. This is real powerful. I think it's just important right now when you got people like her and what she's saying on the same frequency, like our sister is talking about, we got to get with people on the same frequency and start from there and then expand it out to others who might don't understand where we at, because if not, our enemy deliberately puts people around us to tear us down. Right? So you got to get with people who on the same frequency and ready to work. And then eventually everybody else will catch up. So if you keep sitting around people who have been taught to destroy the village, who have been taught that every time their brother gets up, they hate on it instead of love it and be happy for him. The same thing is you're going to keep getting caught in the spider web. So I'm not saying don't help everybody, but we got to get together. People who get it and start from there and build. And then we can catch everybody else and build everybody else up with us.
Because water seeks its own level.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Yes.
Right, round of applause for that, y'all. Yes, thank y'all so much. And so with that, I actually think the last question was answered. So we're gonna go, we don't wanna leave y'all from this without an opportunity to continue the conversation, without an opportunity to continue to connect with you. And so we're gonna leave with a call to action. We have these cards here. You can scan the QR code. The one on the left, the green one, is individual. There's some words on the back that will ask about what your personal commitment is. On the red one, that QR code is the one we want for real. That one is going to ask you how we can continue to connect with you, how we can support you, and what we can do. Our goal is to be able to have check-ins with y'all one-on-one, call, email, and in the future, try to schedule a Zoom maybe next time. Y'all don't have to come out, but community.
Right.
To continue to connect and see what we can do to keep this going. We want this to keep going. We want this to keep building. So these will be around. After this, the band is gonna come back. We know that's what y'all want to see. Round of applause for them.
We can move the chairs, if y'all can fold the chairs, I'm gonna move the chairs to the side so people can dance if they want to for the second set.
Yeah, but I just want to again thank our panel. Round of applause for our panel, y'all. Thank you guys so much for sharing your expertise, for being resources, for your commitment to your community. I appreciate y'all for coming out here. Everybody in the crowd, I appreciate you guys for coming out and for showing up. A round of applause for yourselves.
And I want to say, I have t-shirts. I love Black people t-shirts. Just do me a favor, make sure you scan the app and recommend other Black businesses that you think we should support in the DMV on the app because we're building something special. Please make sure you do that. I'll give everybody a t-shirt while they laugh.
Yeah, so let's keep it going, y'all. We're gonna move the chairs around, enjoy the band, and enjoy each other. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, that's beautiful.
You know what it just kind of saying. See how we go. I gave that one to me. Yeah. I got
Right, that's what I'm saying. A lot of things that they don't is very high money. I'm saying, but I'm saying it's. A lot of things. I said. I'm just saying, that's like saying. That's what they hear, and you're like, oh, no, we don't want to. It's too much. But you keep watching, it's like, you know, now you can. So I'm careful. Say it's in. I still get out of that. I'm hoping. Yeah, it was just for me to God. So then I can personally. And instead of and they can also. Yes. Right, you would need to have all 7 people sign. So you have to physically bring in all 7 of them with their ID to sign on the account. And once they all have to sign. There should be, you all have the same. And once you all, all have to take. Alright, you got like. All 7 people and the only thing is. So we're pretty much long. South Carolina, really Georgia, Tennessee. So that's any problem. Wanted to work on it, they can work with that. Yeah. It's not. Right. So right now, we currently have. So I'm curious. Hopefully, maybe it's that. Yes. Okay, yeah. No, because I have all I phone. I need to Google or look it up. So hard. I just found where it's there. I know something new. I feel like electronic is really. Also, another thing. Yeah, you might be here and then you're back. I'm just telling you what it is. Have to be careful about that. You see,
When I get my laptop, I'll follow back.
it's a form of your tag credit. They can hear.
Bit of bullying over here. There's air right here. There's air right here. No, come in. You need to be right here and you think everything today. I didn't look like a little girl, right?
You trying to get ready?
I'm still finding my professional. He's a research analyst or data analyst, pretty much for a local business and doing research about the racial healthcare. And so I think this project what I heard is like using data to find drivers of the racial issues. And he was saying that through his like data analysis, one of the biggest drivers for racial wealth gap is like black.
You know, it's crazy. So I'm gonna tell y'all. I like
So he's been like fighting, I guess. So I don't have time here. But he's putting in the direction of his nonprofit. And he told me that he has like a few articles that he's reading.
and I'm gonna that check deposit.
Yeah, and see,
and if you change up and you surprise. But it also tells us is that
right what he was saying that first
I know that
the thing is that
because of how I that is unfortunate. Sorry.
he is a data analyst and I've been deciding like
Granted, that was 7 years. Everybody a lot of
and
concerned about one person that controls all the
I'm leaning data analyst now because it's a practical skill that I can apply to different areas, different types of and I'm going like more interested in it. And because I do it down to work, I'm like, that's a skill that it makes more sense to me to do than what they say. And then like
That's my mom right here.
thank you.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? I'm good, brother. Nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you. My name is. What's your name again? Akinyami Green. Akinyami. Yes, sir. What is what does that mean? It's Yoruba. It's Yoruba for brave warrior who refuses to give up. Powerful. Yes. Powerful. Like I guess you function and whatever. Yeah. I got an app here. So you really don't use Instagram and all that? I use it, but I don't like he'll tell you I don't post. I haven't posted since 2018. But my thing is like, how do we reach these young folks? I guess y'all ain't really like really. Oh, hold on. I think. I used to teach for and I had kids that love to learn, but they hated to learn. They hated to learn because they didn't like learning. They hated to learn because somebody gave up. Somebody said this kid didn't learn after the system in this corner.
It's jarring.
Actually got contact. You're all whining or telling people. And then they say, every time this you're releasing, I mean, I can see it together getting built up. So the girls like there's it's hard. I don't know, man. It's hard, but No, we can all talk. United, working, so. Thank you, thank you. I mean, now with the art conversation, research where we are not including those programs. Because some of those programs were not that you put in commercial. Some would, some will make you have a personal organ with the, the home. So I would call and ask them and say, hey, like, can I use this program? If I was for business, if I was for business, can I do that with this program? Nah, can I be part of it? If they make you do personal, I will buy. And she first told me that they should have chart in mortgage. I get Mark, I was like 60. That's their that they think happen now. They might be able to put something that they just so they could have local museum. Already show. Birthday is over. Female folk. Birthday. We are our town. This is Zibora's, right? Zibora's come.